Hey, what's up, everyone? If you're new here, I'm 25. I'm not rich and I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who's trying to figure out money like most of us are. Today, I'm going to break down the different investment accounts and not just what they are, but when you can actually touch the money, how taxes hit you, and which ones make sense depending on your goals. So let's get into it. So, the first investment account, air quotes, that I'm going to talk about is not really an investment account, but it's a way to grow your money slowly. I think it's also the most beginner friendly option too, and that's going to be your high yield savings account. So, like I said, this isn't technically an investment account, but it's where I choose to keep like my short term savings and emergency fund. It earns more interest than a regular savings account, and right now, depending on what bank you go with, it's around 3 to 5% APY. Now, I choose to elect 10% of my paycheck into my high yield savings account. So to kind of break down the technicalities of a high yield savings account, we need to start with looking at the competition. A normal savings account, which I assume most of us have, and if you don't have a savings account, that's okay, but when you open a savings account, usually through your standard bank, so Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, your top dogs, right? You'll get an APY payout, so a percentage payout for the year. And this usually comes in the form of a direct deposit the first of every single month. And now to break down what APY means, that is basically the effective rate of return on an investment for 1 year. So I'm going to give you guys an example and you'll see the power of a high yield savings account. So let's say you open a high yield savings account and you put $10,000 in there. And look, I'm not saying you have $10,000. You could put $50 in there. $10,000 is just a good number to kind of make the example easy. So a normal savings account, I'll show you guys, I'll put a picture of Wells Fargo's Platinum savings account right now. They're paying an APY, so once again, how much return on your investment for 1 year you're going to get. They're paying an APY of 0.01%. So what that means, let's say you put $10,000 into this high yield savings account and do not put another dollar in there for a whole year. You will make 0.01% interest on your money. Now, if you do the math, that is $1. So by putting your $10,000 into a Wells Fargo Platinum savings account, in 365 days, you will make $1. That's pretty sad. Now let's do an example of a high yield savings account. For example, like the one I have with SoFi that pays 3.8% APY. And once again, APY is how much rate of return on our money we're going to get in 1 year. So let's say I open a high yield savings account with SoFi at 3.8% with $10,000. In 365 days, I will make 3.8% on my $10,000, which if you do the math is $380. So think about that. All we did was change savings accounts, same amount of money, just change savings accounts, and we went from making $1 in a year to $380. And it's literally free money. And there's some benefits too. So let's look at the benefits. The first benefit is going to be tax treatment. The interest you earn, so let's say we make that $380. I know it's not a lot, but we can put that as taxable income. So that's pretty nice. Now, the next main benefit is it's your savings account. It's not an investment account. So there's no penalties. You can withdraw that money anytime, it's your money. The next benefit, and this is my favorite one, with SoFi, the first day of every month at midnight, your interest is paid out direct deposit. I don't have to worry about checks. I don't have to call anybody. Nope. The first day of every month, my interest is paid out. So that's super nice too. It makes it super easy. Now, there's only two downsides that I personally see. The first downside, this does not grow your money like investing. The reason I say that is because let's say you're investing your money into the S&P 500. The S&P 500 traditionally returns about 7% every year, whereas this high yield savings, like the SoFi one, only returns 3.8%. So about half. Once again, not bad money at all, just don't expect to put your money in here and you're going to get rich off of it. This is strictly just a safe place to keep your cash and grow a little bit of interest. The other downside I see, and this is based on your preferences, a lot of high yield savings accounts like SoFi, they don't have brick and mortar stores. So you can't go into a SoFi storefront and talk to them. It's an online banking account. And a lot of high yield savings accounts are unfortunately like this. And to some people, that's a downside. To some people, they don't care. Me personally, I don't really care, but I could see, depending on circumstances, how it could be a downside, not being able to just walk into the store and grab a check or something like that. So once again, high yield savings accounts, super beneficial, super easy to set up. It's literally just like setting up a savings account, and you're going to make more interest. So it's a win-win for you. And like I said, for me personally, I send 10% of my money every there, each paycheck. And I think it's a great option to kind of start with, start growing your money slowly but safely and in a savings account. So the next investment account I want to talk about is the 401k. So this is your retirement account through work. If your job offers a match, let's say like 4%, always at least grab the match. It's free money, literally free money. So once again, with your 401k, basically you send in money each paycheck and your company is going to invest it for you. And usually, like I said, they'll match you a certain percent. The current company I work for, part-time, they match 6%. So if I elect 6%, they will put in 6%. So super basic example, but let's say 6% of my paycheck is $20. They will match that $20 themselves. So now instead of investing $20, I'm investing $40. And 20 is my money, whereas the other 20 comes from the company. So you always want to grab the match. Now let's talk about some benefits with this. You have some good tax advantage with the 401k account. With a traditional 401k, you're going to contribute pre-tax. This is what I do. I personally like traditional 401ks. I think they're just easier, and I feel like they have a proven track record of helping people out in the long run. So once again, traditional 401k, you're going to contribute pre-tax. The money is going to grow tax deferred, and then you will pay the taxes when you withdraw. Now, the Roth 401k, you're going to contribute that post-tax. It's going to grow tax-free, and when you withdraw, it's also going to be tax-free. So you can see the difference is the traditional is going to be pre-tax, the Roth is going to be post-tax. Now, in order to withdraw this money tax-free, you're going to have to basically be at your retirement age, which right now, the retirement age, I believe for no penalties, is 59 and a half years old. So basically, you just pay regular income tax on a traditional 401k. Now, if you try to early withdraw this money, let's say you want to withdraw it before 59 and a half, you're going to have to expect some type of penalty. So usually you're going to expect about a 10% penalty plus income tax, unless you qualify for an exception. So I know if you have disability, or if you're buying a home for the first time, or if you have like specific hardships, they'll actually let you pull, I don't know if it's all of that money, but at least some of that money out tax-free. But once again, go into it with the mindset that around 59 and a half is when you're going to be able to touch that money tax-free, penalty-free. Now, the cool thing with a 401k is how much money you can contribute to it. If you're under 50 years old, I think right now you can contribute about $24,000. So basically what I'm saying is you can put a lot of money into this account and let it grow like crazy, because if you have enough money, if you make enough money to max out your 401k, you're making pretty good money, because I know I don't. I usually put around like $3,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a year into my 401k. So once again, I contribute enough to get the match. I usually do a little bit more. Like I said last video, my match is 6%. I contribute 8%. The best part about a 401k, it's completely set and forget. You don't have to check it. It's managed for you. You just put your money in it, and let it grow. And your company will match you to a certain extent, so you'll really start to see that income boost, especially when you get to higher numbers and the compound interest starts ramping up. So next account is going to be your Roth IRA. Now, the Roth IRA is a great account. The way I like to look at it, it's a retirement account you can open on your own, and it's not through work. And it has some really good benefits. So imagine your 401k just personal. That's literally the way I like to look at it. The best tax advantages with your Roth IRA is you contribute after tax money. Now, what that means is if I put money, let's say I put $100 into my Roth IRA, that $100 is going to get taxed up front. So the money that goes into my Roth has already had the tax taken out of it. Now that's super beneficial because that means, for example, the other benefit is it grows tax-free. So let's say I put $100 in and my money grows to $1 million. I was already taxed because my $100 was taxed. I don't get taxed on that $1 million. I get taxed on the $100 because you contribute after tax money. So think about how powerful that is. By me investing $100 and them taxing it up front, all the growth in that account, quote unquote, has already been taxed. So all the growth in that account does not get taxed anymore. So that's the biggest benefit of a Roth IRA. Now, if you want to withdraw this money tax-free, there's a little bit of a caveat. It's kind of like your 401k. After 59 and a half, and the account has been open for 5+ years, so you have to meet both that criteria. 59 and a half, account has been open for 5 years, you can withdraw the money and earnings tax-free. Now there's a special rule with this. You can withdraw your contributions at any time, no penalty, no tax. You just cannot touch the growth in earnings without penalty before 59 and a half. So I'm going to say that again. You can withdraw your contributions anytime, no penalty, no tax. You just cannot touch the growth in earnings without penalty before 59 and a half. So let's look at this. Let's go back to our high yield savings account example. If I put $10,000 into my Roth IRA and I make 3.8% in a year, $380, and I'm 25, that $10,000 I can pull out tax-free, penalty-free, because that was my money that I put in. That $380 that I made, I cannot touch that $380 without a penalty before 59 and a half. So that's the only kind of special rule with a Roth IRA. My contributions, I can take out. It's my money. The money I make off my contributions, that I cannot touch. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that because it's a very important rule. Now, for example, with like the early withdrawal penalties, and once again, this is going to be on the earnings because my contributions I can pull out whenever. It's on the earnings that I get penalized. You should expect a 10% penalty plus taxes if you withdraw early. Unless it is for a first-time home purchase, I can take out up to $10,000 worth of earnings. Also, unless it's for qualified education expenses or disability/unreimbursed medical expenses. So let me say that one more time. Early withdrawal penalties. Expect 10% plus taxes if you withdraw early, unless it is for first-time home purchases, qualified educational expenses, and disability and medical expenses. So the cool thing about your Roth, and once again, they kind of have to temper it because it could really get crazy if you start throwing a lot of money into that account and your compound interest starts rolling. You can make a lot of money in your Roth. You can only contribute $7,000 from the age, I think it's 18 or whenever you open it, to like 55. After 55, they do this thing where it's like called a catch up. Like, let's say you were late to investing. So let's say you're watching this and you're 55 years old and you want to open a Roth. I think you can contribute like 8 to 10,000 a year. I'll put a picture to find the right number, and you can invest more money to kind of catch up. Now, one other thing too. Let's say you're watching this and you make a lot of money. If you make too much money, you actually can't contribute into a Roth IRA. Some people, based on your income, you're actually locked out of your Roth IRA. So once again, this is kind of the personal takeaway. If you're young, your Roth IRA is a literal beast. You can grow money tax-free and do not owe anything later after you retire. It's literally like buying your future, your financial freedom at a discount at a young age. So Roth IRA is super important to start investing into. Once again, if you have the money, if your situation calls for it, and you can afford it. Now, let's look at a brokerage account. So a brokerage account is going to be your most flexible option. The trick with a brokerage account is not a tax advantage account, but it's open access. So you can invest in literally anything. If you want to invest into Tesla, Apple, and Microsoft, and you want to put 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, a brokerage account is for you. Because remember, with the 401k and with the Roth, they put max on how much you can invest a year. With a brokerage account, you can open a brokerage account and drop $1 million in there. So it's the most flexible account. The only thing I would say with a brokerage account is the downsides is it's very, very easy to overtrade. Because, for example, if you see like a lot of guys who day trade, they're day trading in brokerage accounts. No one's day trading in a retirement account. Day traders reside in brokerage accounts because you can go crazy. You can put as much money as you want into certain stocks. You can do, options and calls and stuff. Me personally, I have a brokerage account, but I'll be completely honest with you guys, I do not put any money into it. Because once again, the whole reason of the YouTube channel name Slow Stack Society is I'm setting my future up for long-term, slow growth, long-term wealth. I'm not trying to day trade and become rich overnight. I've tried it. I've lost money. I know people have tried it and lost money. It's just not worth it. Plus, I work part-time. I don't make a lot of money. So I'm trying to be as safe with my money as possible and have very low risk. And once again, a brokerage account is not a bad thing by any means. It's just your intention. A lot of people open a brokerage account with the intent of day trading, with the intent of becoming rich and trying to invest into all these different companies that are going to blow up. It's not a bad idea at all, but it's just something I personally would worry about after you already have a high yield savings, already have a 401k, and already have a Roth going. If you have a high yield savings and you have a Roth and you have a 401k all working for you, at that point, you can open up a brokerage account. But once again, you just want to be safe with it. You don't want to get too emotional with your investments. You want to just relax because a lot of the times too, if you're going crazy with this investment stuff, you're going to get burnt out. Whereas if you just slowly invest your money into a high yield savings, Roth and 401k, you're going to feel really relaxed with your money. And being relaxed with your money is the most important thing in the world because a lot of people start stressing about their money and it leads to a lot of bad things. You do not want to get financially stressed. So, quick overview, brokerage account. You can withdraw the money at any time. You will get taxed on that money when you go to pull it out. That is one thing too with a brokerage account. So it's a catch-22. You can invest as much money as you want. You can play with whatever you want. But when you go to pull that money out, you're going to get taxed on it. So just be careful with brokerage accounts. Make sure you do your due diligence, look at the stocks you want to invest in, and just make sure you're doing it right. Because, like I said, last thing you want to do is stress about your investments. Now, the last account I'm going to talk about here, and this is the one that I have the least knowledge on, so forgive me if I butcher this a little, but this is going to be your health savings account. Now, I've heard your health savings account is super beneficial. This is basically if you have a high deductible health plan, and it's one of the best deals out there. The nice thing about a health savings account is it is triple tax advantage. So you contribute pre-tax, just like your 401k and like your Roth IRA. It grows tax-free, and you can withdraw for medical expenses tax-free. So anytime for qualified medical expenses, you will withdraw with no penalties and no taxes. Let me say that again. Anytime for qualified medical expenses, you can withdraw that money, no penalties, no taxes. After age 65, here's the other cool thing. After age 65, you can use it like a standard 401k. No penalty on the money taken out. The only trick is non-medical withdrawals, because once again, it's a health savings account. Non-medical withdrawals are taxed like income. So just be careful with that. Now, the restriction with a health savings account, it is only available if your health plan is high deductible. Also, withdrawals that are non-medical before 65, you pay a 20% penalty plus tax. So just be careful. Once again, the way I look at this is, if you're doing this like a long-term goal, I would start with your 401k, I would start with your high yield savings account, and I would start with a Roth IRA. Once you have all three of those set up, from there you can move on to like a health savings account or a brokerage account. So just to wrap everything up here, basically, if I was starting from scratch again at 25, I already have three of these. I have four of these technically. I have my high yield savings, I have my 401k, I have my Roth, and I have my brokerage account. But I only invest into my Roth, my high yield savings, and my 401k. Now, if I were to start again at 25, this is exactly what I would do. Even what I'm doing right now, making a part-time wage, this is exactly what I would do. I would start saving money in a high yield savings account. Doesn't have to be a lot of money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of your paycheck, just put in a high yield savings account so you make some decent return on it throughout a year. Next, invest in your 401k and invest at least to get the match. So once again, if your company matches 2%, they match 4%, they match 6%, at least invest the match of whatever they are offering. After you have your high yield savings and your 401k set up, I would start investing into a Roth IRA. Once again, this is going to allow your money to grow tax-free. And the best part about this too is as the years go by, compound interest is just going to build and that money is going to blow up. Once you have done all three of those things, I would start investing some extra money in a brokerage account. And this you could have some freedom with. Like I said, just be careful, research the stocks you want to invest in, and just make sure you're doing it right, because once again, you do not want to add any other financial stress to your life. And lastly, if you have the access, you can throw some money into a health savings account. The goal is not to max everything out at once. It's literally just to start, pick one, stay consistent, and let time do the thing, and just slow stack your money. Build the compound interest, and just go from there. So if this broke things down in a helpful way, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which accounts are you guys prioritizing, which one confused you. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening to me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.